there, what's up? It's a new year, and I wanted to share the 5 things that I do to prepare myself for a new year to be successful and to make sure I have the best year that I possibly can. So let's dive into the 5 things that I do to prepare myself for a new year, to stay aligned with my goals, and so that I don't get off track. One of the biggest reasons people don't achieve their goals or stick to their New Year's resolutions is because they literally set a goal and that's it. They kind of set it and forget it. And honestly, they don't do anything else. Setting a goal just isn't enough. We have to go a little bit deeper and do a little bit more work so that we set ourselves up for success. Honestly, all of us are in different phases in our lives and on a different part of our journey. And just like the things that you do every day and every week and every month start to compound, it's really important that you look at the bigger picture of your overall year and start there so that you can reverse engineer the things you need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are going to get you on the path and a trajectory to achieve the goals that you have for this year. And what better time than at the turn of a new year for you to really be thinking about what is this next year going to look like? What are the things that you want to achieve? Where are you in your journey? What is the next level, the next step? What is something that you've really been wanting to focus on and kind of theme it for this year? So the first step on how to prepare yourself to have a successful year is going to be to pick a word of the year. And you may have heard about this before, or maybe you've done this in the past, or maybe it's something that you've thought about. But picking a word of the year really helps you theme and make it simple to just have one word that you have to think of or that reminds you of what this next year is really about. Setting that intention and deciding, what does this next year look like? For me, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to achieve? Picking one word allows you to use it as a filter. It's very easy to remember, but it also is very easy for you to then filter out everything you're choosing to do and choosing not to do based on asking yourself, if I choose to do this thing, does it align with my word? Is it going to help me get there? So my word of the year for 2024 is expansion. And so I will ask myself, is me choosing to do this or working on this or putting time, energy, money into this going to help me with expansion? And if it's a yes, then it's something that I will likely do. If it's a no, it's a heck no, and I'm filtering out the things that I'm doing and focusing on for that year. So picking your word of the year is a great way to theme your year and to use it as a filter and to remember, what is it that I'm trying to do? In previous years, I've used words such as purpose, growth, slow, and savor. And those words have really helped me build and mold the life that I want. And I kind of stack the years and the words that I use on top of each other. So in the last couple of years, I've really wanted to kind of slow down, get more intentional, really savor being present in the moments of time that I'm in. And this year, I feel like I've done that. I've created routines and systems in my life to really slow down. And I feel like now I'm really ready to build upon that and start to expand in different areas of my life. Moving on to the next step is to take my word of the year and that theme and really set goals. And then what I'll do is once I set those goals, I'll create a vision board. A vision board is really just a visual representation, whether you use digital or physical paper or anything like that, to remind you and consciously but also subconsciously put it as in many places as you possibly can to remind you of what are the goals that you're trying to achieve within the theme of that year. So when it comes to my word of the year, I will pick 5 to 6 different categories based on my own human desires, which I'm going to break down in a second. And I try to make them measurable. I try to make them things I can see myself doing. And if I keep doing those consistently and with discipline, then I am very likely to achieve my goals for the year in each of those categories. So the 5 to 6 categories that I've chosen for this year are family, health, wealth, love, friendship, and home. When it comes to my category of expansion for my family, for me, it's really going to be about spending time with those people. And how do I expand the amount of time and create more expansion, having more time to be able to spend with them? But what do I actually do with that time? And how do I expand the quality of that time? And so that might look like taking my kids on individual dates just with me and them one-on-one. Maybe it's creating a certain time during my day that is focused just to quality time with the people in my family. And I will take that a step further and say, okay, between the time of this and this, I have a block of time that's really what I'm going to be doing, and scheduling it into what I'm doing within the calendar of my week. And so that's what I'm talking about when you're setting the goals within the different categories, making them measurable and saying 5 days a week, I am going to do this at this time. And I will show you in just a little bit what that actually means. Again, the most important part is being specific with the different goals you want to hit in those categories, as well as making some kind of measurable step that you can create a routine and habits around. So if you show up consistently, you know that you're going to hit that goal within that category. So before we move on to the next tip, if you are here and you want to know what you can do to expand more in your business, I highly recommend that you check the link in the description box below and you check out our business blind spot quiz. It's going to take you 90 seconds and it's going to really guide and help you pinpoint on what you should be focusing on next in your business to make it successful. Now that we got that out of the way, let's move on to the next step that's going to help you prepare for a successful year. Step number 3 is taking the goals that you have and seeing if you have any projects in there. And a project to me is defined as something you want to achieve that's going to take multiple steps. It is not good enough to just say, I want to build a website, or I want to rebrand and redo my website for my business this year. That is a big, lofty project, and we know it's going to take multiple steps in order for you to complete that project. So anytime I identify some projects that I might have, I'm going to take that project and I'm going to identify it and I'm going to work on the steps it's going to take. So for example, I have written out different projects that I have moving into the first quarter of this year that I know I'm going to be working on, and I've broken down what those steps are going to be in order for me to complete that project. The best way I do that is actually moving on to step number 4, and that is to goal map. And what I do when I'm goal mapping is I'm going to take the project or the goal that I have, and I'm going to reverse engineer what are the steps that I need to take in order for me to achieve this. And by doing this, you are getting a lot more detailed into what are the steps you actually have to take in order to achieve this goal, so that if you're reverse engineering from the goal down to the different steps you have to take, all you have to worry about is taking that first step and then the next one and the next one, and you start stacking the different things that you've completed to really make sure that project and goal is completed. So for Q1, I have written down the different projects and different goals that I have based off of my overall theme of expansion in my different categories. If you just set a goal and you kind of know what projects you have and you kind of know what goals you have within different categories, or you just pick a word of the year, you can see how it's very easy for you to fall off track because you're not getting a little more detailed in the planning of what it's actually going to take for you to get there. And this is really the important piece that I think a lot of people don't do in their life or their business to make sure they're able to show up and execute on any plans that they have. A plan is only going to be as good as the details and the planning you've prepared in that strategy. And if you don't do that strategy, then you're going to show up to try to execute, and it's not going to be easy to do, and you're probably going to fall off the wagon and lose focus and lose momentum, which is why those New Year's resolutions don't work. And by the middle of February, you're like, I'm a complete failure, I suck, I can't get any of this done. But the reality is that you just didn't do these extra steps to get yourself on the path and trajectory to really be able to execute and start achieving the things that you want. If you are liking what I'm showing you right now through my Notion, as I'm planning out and showing you where I prepare my projects and my quarterly goals, I have an agency Notion template for you that is completely customized with all of the things that I use. And if you're interested in finding out how you can have access to that, make sure to check the description and link below for the agency owner template. It is completely incredible. I have spent so much time using this and preparing it as a template for you, and I think you're really gonna love it. It would be great for you to start having something like this to organize all of these things for your business and your life moving right into this next year. The next step that I take is spending a little bit of time reflecting on my past year and maybe years over years if you've been doing this for a while, and sit down and really think to myself, what worked last year? What am I not spending time celebrating or even recognizing that I did really well? And what are the things that didn't work? And really, this is about taking a moment to learn from your mistakes, to learn from your wins, and to get yourself to be better and better year over year. Because if we don't take the time to do this, we end up getting stuck having the same year over and over and over again. And if you are somebody who's like, I am watching this video because I really want to get myself to achieve the things that I want. I've been saying this for months and years that I want to do these things, but I can't seem to get over that hump. And I'm telling you right now, it's because you're not doing the full kind of 5-step system. And that has been the thing that has really made it easier for me to show up. And so you do need to take some time to reflect, see what's been working, what's not been working, take some time to celebrate those wins, and decide what are the things you're not going to do anymore moving into this next year because they just didn't work. And now we're able to eliminate that stuff and really focus on what's going to work for you based on the steps in the projects, based on the measurables of the goals, based off the overall arching theme of where you're trying to go and how you're going to have a successful year. So I'm going to share a few reflections that I had for my life after 2023. Some things that I want to celebrate are hitting revenue goals. I've actually lost 15 pounds. I paid off all my debt. I had my team and me in my insurance agency completely go remote, which was a dream that we had for a really long time. And I really was able to put a focus on spending quality time with my kids. And I can't wait to continue doing these things in 2024. Not maximizing the time that my kids had off. And I really want to focus on that this year so we can, again, expand on the time that I'm spending with my children. I feel like I had way too much screen time. I did not have a consistent home routine, which is one of my goals that I have for 2024 is to create routines that help us stay consistent with the different things going on in our home, and feeling like I just didn't get on the same page on a few things with my husband. And also just because we just didn't have enough time, just me and him individually. So after doing that reflection, some of the things and goals that I put in place for 2024 and things that I want to continue in 2024 is really focusing on how I'm feeling about things and not being afraid to sit in those feelings and work through them, as opposed to staying busy and trying to deflect my feelings or what I'm doing so I don't have to think about them. The other thing I want to continue doing in 2024 is really taking time to meditate, journal, self-reflection, paying attention again to my feelings, and not being afraid to choose myself and put myself first when I need to. And lastly, something that I'm definitely continuing to do in 2024 is setting more boundaries and sticking to my priorities and the things that I have really identified that are important to me, and not letting other things and other noise really distract me. To set yourself up for a great year, it's going to take you about an hour or two on an afternoon to really do these steps. But it's going to be the first and most important thing that you need to do to get yourself prepared. So my action work for this video is for you to schedule 1 to 2 hours as soon as you can, hopefully by the end of this week, so that you can do these steps. And once you do that, you're going to be in such a better place to be prepared for this next year. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, I've done this, or I am going to get this done, but like, how do I actually plan to do the things that I'm planning here? How do I actually schedule the time to execute on the things that I'm planning through this process? And if that's what you're thinking, I highly recommend that you check out this next video that's going to show you how I create routines and habits within my week so that you can also plan and execute on these things consistently so that you can be on the path to have a successful year. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.